I became interested in the high-cost credit industry, and particularly payday loan companies, from seeing the impact of these companies in my own constituency in Walthamstow and talking and working with people who were struggling financially, finding that they couldn't borrow from their banks, and so turning to whether it was doorstep credit or to the payday loan companies on our high street. Whether it was a young mum who found that her tax credits were stopped and her child credit went down, so she wasn't able to pay for childcare, and that was putting pressure on her housing costs, so she started taking out payday loans to cover the difference and has now lost her home. Or the 16-year-old who was lent £300 by one of these companies, and he wasn't even in work. I mean, he had no chance at all of paying back that money. One of the things that really concerns me about the payday loan companies is how open they are about the fact that because the UK, in contrast to other countries around the world, doesn't have the same kind of regulation, they see us as a target market for their activities. We look like fertile territory for them because without a cap on the cost of credit, they can charge what they want and they can make a lot of money, and a lot of them do make a lot of money. It's very clear that a lot of these companies, like Wonga, like Bright House, like The Money Shop, are trying to promote a veneer of respectability to what they do, are trying to say that they're lending to the Facebook generation, that this is a new form of credit and that people like me don't really understand it. My problem is I understand all too well the consequences of lending to people on very low incomes at very high rates of interest. My fear is that when I first started talking about this, I thought we might look at maybe 1 million, perhaps 1.5 million people borrowing from these companies. If this carries on into 2012 and perhaps 2013, I think we could see up to 10 million people affected by these loans. When we see that 1/3 of payday loans are taken out to pay off other payday loans, you can see just how fertile it is for these companies, that if your people are borrowing to pay off borrowing and they're adding interest and making profit from every single loan that they make, why on earth would they cut their rates? The only way they're going to cut the rates is if the government steps in and says, actually, we want to see some kind of cap on this. I'm not calling for an interest rate cap. I'm actually calling for something different, which is a total cost cap, which is basically saying for every single loan that anybody has, there's a certain number beyond which it will never reach, which would encompass not just the cost of the loan, but also any admin fees and any late repayment fees. I also want to see a greater transparency for lenders about exactly how much a loan could cost them, warts and all. Some form of total cost cap mechanism would allow us to do that.